Good afternoon and welcome to this very special session on how to use the Genki English software. So I think a lot of you have got the Genki English software already, and I'm just going to check on here just to make sure everything's coming up on Facebook. So I'm going to take you through how to use this, because this is very different to most other software that's out there. You know, a lot of Genki English, a lot of other software is sort of designed by engineers. So you have to watch these videos and then it's a clip and then it's not very intuitive. Here, I basically designed Genki English to help out teachers. I designed it myself so that in my classroom I can make the lessons more fun, bring in a lot of the extra stuff from outside classrooms, animations, songs, music, graphics. Plus as well, I'm really lazy. And I just didn't like the fact that, every lesson I had to carry around like piles and piles of flashcards and stuff like that. I just wanted one quick USB. So hopefully you can all hear me. If you can just hear me, if you just let me know in the comments, make sure it's all okay, and then we'll get started. And if you've got questions about how to use the software, then put those in the comments as well. We've got some great ones so far. So, and if you haven't got the software yet, go to genkyenglish.com. and you can pick it up. So, this is it. It's basically a tool to make your lessons a lot more fun. So at the top here, we've got different sections here. Now, obviously, if you have a touchscreen computer, you can just touch it and it changes. Whoops, excuse me. Or if you've got one with a dodgy HDMI connection like I seem to have today. There we go, the connector's not very... Yeah, don't touch a normal TV. So if you've got a touchscreen TV, you can just touch it and press the buttons. Or if you've just got a normal computer, like I've just got my MacBook set up here, if you can see there's my MacBook. Of course it works on Windows. Then you just use the touchpad as usual. You can also use things like, infrared mice and all sorts of other cool stuff. So at the top here, this is the menu I've got at the moment. This is the old-fashioned way of doing it with the Genki English CDs, which it doesn't fit on CD anymore. It's all download software. If you go to the ABC button, that's basically all the lessons that are in Genki English. So if you ever forget where they are in the curriculum, then you can just click on the title there and go through. But the one that most of you will be using, and the one that comes up straight away, is this one here, which is in curriculum order. So here you have all the lessons from the Genki English curriculum. And it's spread over 4 different pages. So you've got 3 of the main curriculum. And then we've got the Christmas and Halloween ones as well. And it's very simply split into levels. So you start with the adventure. You go through disco warm-up, rock, paper, scissors, blah, 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 go through there. Then the brainy level, go through all those. Then all those, all those, all those. Very, very simple. So, and of course, they're all fun and funky, and you can choose, and they've got all the games and songs and things like that to go with it. Like rock, paper, scissors, all very Genki and stuff like that. So let me choose one lesson here. Let's go with superhero, and I can walk you through the different sections of the software. So you just choose your lesson, boom, that's it, you need it. So we assume you've done the warm-up already. We're going to teach a new lesson. So the first thing that comes up is what I call a digital flashcards. On here it's called words, and it looks like this. If you notice, it's a blank screen. There's nothing on there. Because what can very often happen is if you're using, say, computers that have got flashy things on the screen the whole time, or apps that have got flashy things on, then the kids lose their focus on you, the teacher. So I designed this to help teachers out, not be a replacement for them. Okay, so it's great because the attention can be on you, and then when you want it, you can move away and get the attention on the screen. And just that change of attention is really good for keeping attention longer. So, and the words one section. Now over here, you see we've got all the words from today's lesson. And if you notice, they're really small. The reason they're small is the kids are not going to read these. So remember, with any language learning, it's speaking first. So the kids won't read them. They don't know how to read them yet. We're teaching speaking first. If you're in some European countries and they can work them out, make them out, then that's there. But I purposely kept them small so the kids can't try and read them because that kills the pronunciation. Okay. The only reason the words are there is purely for us, the teacher, because in the middle of class, or a Facebook Live, lots of people watching, you get very nervous, and if it's a new lesson, you can forget what you're teaching today, and you start teaching the wrong words or the wrong phrases, and I'm sure that's happened to you a lot. So these are there just for the teacher. So we got several different ways of using these digital flashcards, and I'll talk you through 3 quick ways now. We'll do a very beginner, sort of old-fashioned way. We'll do a modern, professional way, and then we'll do the even more modern, flipped classroom way. So, what I try to do is, as I say, a lot of software is designed by engineers. It doesn't really help the classroom. All I wanted to do is, when I made this, was I just want to have my flashcards, and I just want to have it so when I touched the flashcard, it started talking. That's all I wanted, yeah. Plus, I wanted the flashcards bigger, because you've got 30 kids in the room, rather than an A4 card, if you've got a big TV, then it's a lot easier, yeah? So that's all I wanted. Just touch it, and it comes up. So, obviously, this is a different lesson. We've got superhero, this is a different one, but that's all I wanted. So basically, all I've done here is, these are just flashcards. You just press the button, and bang, the flashcard appears. So, jump! That's it. We get the flashcard. Now, cool thing about the computer is, it's animated! So stuff like that happens, and you as a teacher might get freaked out, going, what happened? But the kids love it. They get freaked out. Especially if you go for one like, climb. Never finishes it. Gets right to the end. So, the basic old-fashioned way of teaching this is very simple to get the kids to listen and repeat. So you'd go, climb. Everybody! Come on, a lot louder. Climb. Come on. Climb. Excellent, very good. Yeah, lots of applause. Very simple. Repeat after me. Not that effective. This is if you're a new teacher or if you're still a little bit nervous in classroom. It's just a simple way of doing it. You very simply press the buttons. If you've got a touch screen again, you can just touch the screen. But if you've got a computer like I've got today, you just touch the buttons on the keyboard. So this is number 6, just press it like that. Climb. Or run. Hide. Cook. Run. Very simple. You can use the mouse if you want as well, but it just gets a bit more... Run. It doesn't really work with the mouse. It's much more effective if you can just... swim. Press the keyboard like that. Now, if you notice as well, there are lots of different intonations for each one. So we've got lots of different accents and lots of different intonations, and that really helps later on when we come to do the phonics. So, for example... Run. Yeah, and... Run. Everybody, come on, bigger voice. Run. Excellent. And you notice things like I'm stressing the run sound, so that really helps later on with the phonics and sounds. I see, animated, looks stupid, gets better attention than straight normal flashcards. Plus, of course, it's the full screen, so all the kids at the back can see. When I do demo classes, we have 1,000 students with 2 big projectors at either side, and it works great. It's all vector graphics, so you can... I know some of you put this on a cinema screen when you do lessons at cinemas, and you put it on a cinema screen, so it looks great there. So we've got the sound, and we've got the picture. Okay, very important, because some people learn better by hearing, and obviously this is teaching speaking, so we need the hearing there. And we've also got the picture, because a lot of people learn by having a visual associated with that sound. Plus, of course, you want the kids, or adults, whichever age group it is, you want them repeating the sounds as soon as possible. We don't just want purely listening and going. We want it interactive. So the computer goes, stretch. And then the kids go, stretch. This is one of the most popular ones. Cool. So that's sound and pictures. Of course, the next important thing is to have gestures. Because when you're riding a bike, if you're going to ride a bike, you don't get out the book and go, okay, first put your hands on the pedals and then put... No, you just get on the bike and you ride. Yeah? Like when you're driving a car, if you see a red stoplight, you don't think to yourself, oh, red, what does that mean? Let me look in the book and check up the grammar explanation. No, it's red light, bang! Put your foot on the pedal. And it's the same with language learning. We want to have as many gestures as we can for each of the words. And that gets even more of the kids. So we get the kids, or the students who are into learning by sound, pictures, and gestures. Does that make sense to you all? Am I all sort of, yeah, if this is making sense to you, thank you for the thumbs up. Give me some thumbs up and stuff and let me know. If not, put a comment in if you've got questions. Now, with the gestures, if you want to take it a little further, I would always ask the students to come up with their own gestures. So I know a lot of teachers get scared thinking, oh, I can't do gestures, I can't think of it, my creativity is terrible. And, remember, creativity is just, it's just practice. Everybody's written a number one song in the shower, they just haven't written it down. Yeah. So, but if you're scared about that, get the kids to come up, or the adults to come up with their own gestures. And it does mean that some classes will have different gestures, but it also means they're personalising it. Okay. So with stretch, very often they just copy this. But say for jump, there are lots of different ways you can do jump. I don't want to do too much here because it might knock the cables out again. So get the kids to think of their own gestures, and that really helps with the memorization of it. Chris says, I teach New Zealand Sign Language as I go. The kids love it. Yeah. If you know the sign language for your country, American, British, New Zealand, or any of the other English-speaking countries, put that in there as well. It works wonders. Fantastic for grammar later. Okay, so grammar. We need to talk about that in a second. We've got sounds, we've got pictures, we've got gestures. We need meaning. Definitely have to ask the students, okay, so what do you think this means? Because, some of these words, like, for example, run's pretty easy.
Swim. Fly.
They might not know what these mean. And very often as a teacher, we think it's obvious, but for the kids, very often it's not. For example, I was doing a demo class in Italy last year, or a couple of years ago, and we had the word for eat was a bowl of noodles, eating. And the kids, I said, okay, what's eat? And then at the end we tested them and we said, okay, what's eat in Italian? And they said, spaghetti. Okay, so make sure you ask the kids. She said, okay, Nihongo de yuto, kore nan deshou ka? Remember, we're right at the beginning here, so you say that sort of sentence in the local language, yeah? So, come si dice in italiano? Cool. And in English, it's... And get them to say it. And then you just one more time.
Fly.
Everybody! Cool. You notice as well, the pronunciation is coming from the software, not from me. So I'm the teacher, I'm sort of facilitating it. I want the intonations to come from the software. Now, if you're a non-native speaker, I hope the reason's obvious. We want native speaker stuff. And if you are a native speaker, the reason we want the software sound to come from the software is so the kids can get used to different accents, different intonations. Because otherwise, if I go in there and I'm only talking Yorkshire, then the kids will only know Yorkshire. But that's why we put American accents in here, Australian, we've got Kiwis, we've got Canadians, we've got Americans. So the students can get used to lots of different accents. Cool. Okay, that's good. Roberta says, this lesson's great because they can move out of their desks. They love it. Yeah, and it's every lesson, gestures for every piece of vocab. So we've got sound, we've got pictures, we've got kinesthetic gestures, we've got meaning, asking the kids what it means. The next one is, how do we get the grammar in there? So I know a lot of you are always asking me, how do we teach grammar? How do we teach grammar? All grammar means is teach in sentences. So all the Genki English lessons are in sentences, and usually on the keyboard, I don't know if you can see down here, I can't see because everyone's comments, but we've got the letter Q next to the word I can there. So usually if you press Q on the keyboard, the letter Q, yeah, it's down there, the letter Q, that will bring up the question. This theme doesn't have a question, but it comes up with the first part of the sentence, which is...
I can.
Okay, so you get everybody to say...
I can.
Everybody, bigger voices, come on.
I can.
Even louder, say it.
I can.
Good. And then that jumps straight into making a sentence. So you go...
I can jump.
Everybody? Come on, even louder. 3, 4. Obviously, I don't have an audience here, but you can see lots of videos online where I've got real students, but they'd go crazy if I was doing all this explanation. So get the sentence in as soon as you can, and then you get the grammar for free because they know that the sentence structure is I can, blah, blah. Now, don't get them to translate each word, get them to translate the whole phrase. So you can say, okay, jump, Nihongo de yuto, or come si dice in italiano, they tell you. And you say, okay, so jump is blah, blah, blah. I can jump. What's that mean then? And I always do you play up to your own, I always do this sort of thing of like, I'm not sure, what is it? and get them to think, and then they'll translate the sentence. Now, sometimes, I can is an easy one, but they might think it means I am jumping, or I like jumping, or I jump, or something like that, yeah? So get them to actually figure out what the sentence means. Don't dissect it and say, okay, now we have the first person singular pronoun, and then we followed it by the... It's like, no. Just, I can jump is, boom, and then they can say what it is in their language, okay? That's good. And you just go through...
I can swim. I can cook.
Etc. Usually, if you hear each word 3 or 4 times, you get it stuck in your head. If you can hear each one 7 or 8 times, you won't forget it. So that's the basic way of introducing vocab. Okay, I'll move on to the next bit and then we'll come back to the professional way of doing it. Is that okay for everybody, yeah? Lots of good. Graziana says, how do you teach pronouns just after... Okay, we'll come on to that in a second. There's a more complicated question. So when we've done the initial vocab, now we need to teach the song. So I'm sure, a lot of you know that Genki English is famous because of the songs. And, just like I designed the software as a tool for me in the classroom, I wanted big flashcards. I wanted an empty bag where I didn't have to carry things around. The songs are what make Genki English famous, and I designed those so the language gets stuck in your head. Now, some people just go and play the song and they go, okay, everybody, start singing. Go ahead. Why aren't you singing? Go on, stand up, sing, go on. Start singing. You know this, go on, sing. That doesn't work. Needless to say. You have to, whenever you're teaching a song in a music class, in a regular music education, you always have to teach the song a cappella first, which means without music. You teach the song a cappella, and then when you bring the music in, everybody knows the song, and then they go, whoa, what's this? And you get the great results. Now, I know a lot of teachers are scared of a cappella, scared of singing, so that's when we have up here the mini lesson. This is basically... I wanted to call it a cappella, but nobody understood it, so I had to call it a mini lesson. Basically, it teaches the song. So
I'm a superhero. No. Yes.
And you just let that play through, and then the kids just repeat in time. During the mini lesson, that's a little bit of a rest for you as the teacher. I know a lot of teachers do this. A lot of teachers start saying, okay, now we're going to watch this. Now, wait, you won't watch it. It's a superhero. Oh, superhero. Can you hear superhero? Yes, it's a very good thing. Okay, now you over there, and you've been doing this, and blah, 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 blah. No, chill, relax. Pull away, let the software do its job. It gives your throat a bit of a rest. And more importantly, when the mini lesson is playing, it lets you listen to the class and hearing what they've got, what they've not got, and who needs extra help or what pronunciation help they need doing. Usually the mini lesson, you'll do it once or twice, and then you'll go into the main song. With the song, I could do a whole video on this, but basically, this is an animated song, the Genki English songs. Get big, loud music. You say to everybody, okay, you're nice and relaxed. Are you ready to do this? Here we go. Everybody. And then just look up, and then you start doing the gestures. Is that okay? Cool. That's the basic way of doing it. Okay, I hope I'm not going too long here. That's taken 20 minutes already. But now, for a more advanced way of doing the vocab, before I show you the rest of the software, a more advanced way of doing it is to get, instead of you saying to the kids,
jump!
Everybody, come on, say it. A better way to do it is to ask the kids and say, get them to think of stuff that let's get a different. Okay, let's do a superhero. So what you would do is you would go in. It's more professional. You need to have a higher level of language yourself. Kids are the same level, yeah. So you go in and say, do you know? And you do this in the local language, remember, yeah. So do you know? I'm a secret superhero. Yeah, I am. Yeah. And the kids go, no, yeah. And you just play along with it. And for the older kids, you're like, yeah, just play along with it. Okay, yeah, superhero, yeah. For the little kids, if they're seriously believing it, you decide how much you want to do. And you say, yes, I've got superpowers. Now, can anyone guess what my superpowers are? And then the kids will start shouting out in their language the different types of superpowers that I could have. Okay? And if it's something that's not on the list, remember the kids can't read this is just for the teacher. If it's not on the list, you just go, nope, try again. Getting kids used to trying again, making mistakes, really important. As you saw my cable falling out a minute ago. And if they do get something that is in the song, you can say, yes! Let's learn how to say it in English. Are you ready, everybody?
Swim.
Everybody, big voices? And you do it like that. And you go through most of the ones here, but you don't have to go through them all. Yeah, and you can do that with all the themes, like, say, for example, if you've got, say, summer sports, you know, what did you do in the summer? So I went... I went swimming or windsurfing. Get the kids to guess what you did, and then you say, yes! This is how you say it in English. Okay. Good. Good. Grazian's put a question on there. Why didn't you have... okay, we'll come to those in a second. Okay, Grazian's asking about a different theme. I'll do that at the end. Okay, so we've got the words, we've got the song, the mini lesson. It's really all you need. That's the main focus of the software. We've got a couple of other little sections that are going to help you. This one here is words 2. Now, if you look at this one, this is a more traditional flashcard approach where you would have... You know, you'd have several flashcards on the board. Yeah? So here we have all the vocab from the song. Now, don't put this up at the beginning. This is for when you're doing the classroom game. So, you know, we introduce the vocab, we do the song, and then we do a classroom game to practice it. You know, this one's actually a video activity you can do. And if during the classroom game the kids can't remember all the vocab, which of course they won't because it's the first lesson, you can put it words 2 and it has all the vocab from the song. And if during the game the kids need to remember what a piece of vocab is, they come up to the computer, cook, press it and they can hear it. And they go, oh yeah, I can cook. Good. With the gestures as well, if you want to add in the sign language for every single word, I can. I think it's like can and things like that. But you can do that as well, or keep it simple. Okay, so that's that. And then here, so here you have a karaoke version. It's basically the same song, but with just the music. And my aim originally for that was, if the kids want to come up with their own superheroes, or any of the lessons, favourite animals, foods, whatever, they can sing their own version of the song, putting their own lyrics in. Now, in practice, you usually can't get that far in 45 minutes. But it's something, if you've got longer lessons or more advanced students that want to add in their own lyrics, use the karaoke. And then here you've got a computer game. So this is a very simple computer game. You just press it,
stretch,
hear it,
yes,
and it climbs.
I can run.
Now, some people, you've got different ways of using this. If you notice in the regular Genki English curriculum, so lesson plan, this isn't in there. The computer game isn't in. We do words, song, classroom game, real world game talking amongst each other. We don't use the computer games. Now the computer games are used, for example, if you're doing a flipped classroom. So I think a lot of you know about flipped classrooms. It's basically now how science and maths is taught, because students are scared to ask a teacher when they don't understand. But with a computer, they're quite happy to just do things a million times until they get it. So if you're doing a flipped classroom where the students can get access to the computer, before you introduce the vocab, they learn the vocab with the game, which is really counterintuitive for sort of teachers who don't play computer games. Those of us who play computer games and kids, it's obvious that it's a way to do it. So they either use a computer game at school, in a computer room, or before class, or at home if you're on the homework program. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's basically the whole thing. Now, for some of the other ones, we have different options in there. For example, this one, some of them have up here a little picture. That means they've got to put the Genki English picture book in there. So you have the regular,
Don't forget your
shoes,
shorts, t-shirt, shoes, t-shirt.
You notice the different intonations again. You notice the graphics change too.
Shoes, t-shirt, bucket, spade, fishing rod.
I believe you do get other accents in there. They're just all random, so it comes up with me first, but there we go. And then we got the song, we got the game, and then here we got picture books. So you can do the picture book straight from the software. No need to print out the PDFs. You've got the picture book there. Not all themes have the picture books, but a good few doesn't do. So there we go. And I think that's basically it, yeah? So, some of the themes are a little bit different, like, these ones, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
These have got different, less vocab in there, but it's the same thing. Go through the words,
No problem.
No problem.
go through the mini lesson, and then the song. And then words too, if you're playing a classroom game. You go through the curriculums, all the different lessons. There's far too many lessons. There's 100 lessons. I want to make it less, but if you can go through all 3 pages here, this will get you up to A1, A2 level on the CEFA scores, which is the Japanese government's aim for junior high school 3rd grade when they graduate, which is crazy. And we've got the new Little Red Riding Hood and things here. So these ones are a little bit more complicated near the end of the curriculum.
I wake up.
I suppose that was quite easy, but like for example, if mixing together themes like where have we got? Like the Bremen musicians.
Ouch! Are you okay? No, I'm not! My leg hurts! I'm going to Bremen!
Okay, this is linking together different themes and you get these stuff in there as well. Or for example, things like if you've got past tense with
I said, thank you.
I put on my pajamas.
this one, because we've got a few words in here that are American and British. Whenever there's a clash between the two, we just have 2 little buttons up there, or maybe just one, just the American or just the British one. So you can get the 2 different versions. I think this is our mummy and, of course, mummy on there. But in general, it's all international English, which I know is something that a lot of people ask about. And you go through, and then you got all the Halloween stuff and things like that. And
Kitchen.
Dining room.
Kitchen.
we purposely go overboard with that as well to make it all sound really cool. So that's basically the Genki English software. It looks really simple, but as I say, the idea is it's a tool for you to use. It means you don't have to carry around flashcards. It means you've got a lot higher quality sound. And basically, it's bringing in, all this outside stuff. Because my students, students now are all on phones. When I was teaching in the beginning, it was all PlayStation, and the kids were at home with a PlayStation with and the action, adventure, and the animations, and colours, and big bright colours, And they go to the classroom, and it's chalk on talk. And this is really boring. So I wanted to bring that in, but still keep the teacher, keep you, the great teacher, as the focus of the class, and just make it as an example to help you out and to get some great results. Just the graphics, just really simple, but it's just, you can move it and control it. If you want to go back and check the words.
10, 60, 40.
You can go do that. And there's, these
4 brothers.
and all the different things like that. So that's basically what it is. There we go. Graziano had a quick question. This is this is for doing pronouns. It's exactly the same way. You just do
I am hungry.
everybody. Cool. And what's that in? Ask him what it is in the local language. Go, cool. And then the next one would be
You are hungry.
and same. And then you got the big music again. It goes through. Because of the songs, I can only fit 8 or 10 vocab items in one lesson, so I didn't want to put too much in there. That's why there's not too much. It's all really controlled, really simple, and lots of fun. So there we go. That is the Genki English software. I think I made it seem a lot simpler than it is easy. I know I get a lot of people saying it's difficult. Sometimes they find it difficult, but it's just easy. It's just one screen. There's just one cable here, just the HDMI cable there that just goes from the computer straight into the TV, and you've got basically all the lessons. Also, when you come to do your review, you can just go through all these and review everything really, really quickly. It all makes a lot of sense. And the songs and everything, obviously, they're a bit different to what you'd usually expect. And then the British American is there as well. So there we go. So, if you're interested in the software, the teacher set is on the website, genkienglish.com website. For those of you who are using it every day, I hope this gives you a few little hints and tips. I know using the number keys is a big tip for people. And just try and see it, just use it as a tool instead of flashcards, and just to bring this extra excitement into the classroom, but not a case where it's just play a video and the kids just sit there and watch the video like that. It's interactive, backwards and forwards with you. When you're playing the song, when you're playing the mini lessons, you get a break, which makes life a lot easier. And there you go. So, that's pretty much it, isn't it? And just, the graphics and things are all...
I'm a student. Firefighter.
Teacher. Farmer.
Chef.
They're all a bit weird.
Pilot.
These are the ones that got best reactions from the kids. But they're just big and bright and colourful. I want to bring a lot of brightness and colourfulness into classroom. And if you know a motor, just little, you want to get the psychology of it, just little motions like that really make a huge, great big difference. So there we go, that's the Genki English software. I'll sign off for here. If you've got more questions, put them below, I'll try and answer them, and I'll catch you later. Bye bye.